So over the weekend, Turning Point USA held a memorial for its founder and former leader, Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated nearly 2 weeks ago.
Among the many people who paid tribute to Kirk's legacy were many prominent conservative faces, including the president and vice president. Take a listen.
He led boldly, and he argued brilliantly, without apology. He did what was right for our nation. And so on that terrible day, September 10th, 2025, our greatest evangelist for American liberty became immortal. He's a martyr now for American freedom.
May our Heavenly Father give us the courage to live as Charlie lived. That is what we must do for Charlie.
But perhaps the most powerful and emotional moment of the service came when Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika, spoke about her husband and about the shooter.
I will miss him so much because our marriage and our family were beautiful. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
The service wasn't without controversy, however. President Trump and his deputy chief of staff received some criticism online after the service because of their divisive or reported divisive remarks. Let's take a listen and you decide.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erika.
We are the storm, and our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion. You have no idea the dragon you have awakened.
The service came just a day after the House passed a resolution to honor Kirk's life, a move that was denounced by several high-profile members of the left.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took to the floor of the House Friday to call for a bipartisan condemnation of political violence instead of honoring Kirk himself. Let's take a listen.
His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans. Far from the working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution.
And Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett took it a step further, slamming her Democratic colleagues that voted in favor of the resolution on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday.
When I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
Well, lots to discuss here.
There's so much. Where do you want to start?
Well, I think the big takeaway for me is that, I mean, Erika Trump, I can't even imagine what she's going through, but there's no way she's a star. She's fantastic. I thought her comments were very moving. I thought her forgiveness of the shooter was moving. It was really well done at a moment where I can't believe she even has the presence to be powerful on camera and to help the millions of people who are grieving Charlie Kirk to not the same degree she is, but to guide them through that process. It was fantastic, and she's an incredible woman with an amazing future in the conservative movement.
Yeah, I couldn't even fathom the level of grief she's dealing with, especially being a mother and knowing that they don't have a dad anymore.
Children.
And I was talking to Amber about this because I know she has this new position, and I just was trying to understand and empathize and think about a mom in any moment of grief or loss taking on such a big burden of leading an entire company. I know she's moved by it. I know that she's empowered based on both of her recent speeches, and I know that she can do it because I think that women are fantastic in that way. When pedals to the metal to accomplish things. But I also understand that there's a lot going on when you're dealing with any grief, let alone the grief of your husband and children's father. And so I just was asking Amber at that time, does she think that this will be more of a figurehead role and somebody can be in there actually doing the day-to-day? Because this is a big job. I mean, what they say, like thousands and tens of thousands of new chapters might want to open up a whole leadership role. So I really do wish her the best and continue in this journey for herself.
Well, sometimes throwing yourself into hard work is how you can overcome grief, honestly.
I was alarmed, I'm not going to lie, so I thought her speech was beautiful and separate from what President Trump did. He obviously thought it was separate because he said, Erika Kirk, maybe she can reel me in. But I mean, to be in the moment on the heels of such a dramatic and tragic incident like this, to say, I hate my enemies, and use it and turn it to me, masquerade this memorial service and make it feel like a political rally. I just thought that was poor timing. Like, there's always a decorum that you expect the president, I say this word, I feel like too often, in alignment with President Trump. And it's not because every time you have to be to this certain bar, but somebody was assassinated for political reasons. And so that's a moment to be presidential. And I just felt like it missed the mark in that moment to try to figure out how you can separate even more and divide.
I'm going to sound like such a liberal, but I agree.
I mean, it's a memorial service. Yeah, there's another time for this. And he started saying Charlie Kirk would want tariffs. Like, what?
Well,
I just feel like that wasn't the time or the place.
Right. Charlie Kirk is a very political figure, so there was going to be some discussion of politics, obviously, at this memorial event. But just in particular, I hate my enemies. He didn't even say, like, I hate the enemies of Charlie Kirk. It was about me, my enemies, at a thing where, at a religious, quasi-religious event.
Where the wife just said she forgave her husband's killer.
Right. I think it undercut that message a little bit. So it was not, in my view, everybody loves Trump, could scream at me. It was not his most presidential moment, in my view.
And I think that we should allow space to move on to AOC and Jasmine Crockett for people to have disagreed with his thoughts, but understand that what AOC was calling for is to say that, yes, we should put something forward, a resolution forward to condemn any acts of political violence. I don't think that everybody in the chamber has to say it needs to be named after Charlie Kirk, because obviously he welcomed conversation and disagreement. What I understand is that the day that he's being honored is the same day as George Floyd's birthday, right? And so there's a lot of conversation around that. But the fact that he said before, and I want to make sure I got this right, quote, George Floyd was a father and didn't deserve to die, yet still a scumbag. It's like he said these words around somebody. We want to fire people for doing the same thing about Charlie Kirk.
I don't want to fire anyone for criticizing Charlie Kirk, nor do I want to fire anyone.
Well, a lot of people do. I mean, a lot of people might have called for people to get their job. And so that's kind of like, you can say Jasmine Crockett doesn't have to agree with the fact that on George Floyd's birthday, we're calling it Charlie Kirk Day when he referred to George Floyd as a scumbag. But when people criticize
Charlie Kirk, they're criticizing things he said. When people criticize George Floyd, they're criticizing the fact that he was
the way that he chose to live.
That he committed multiple crimes, including threatening.
The fact is that he didn't deserve to die, neither did Charlie Kirk.
Neither does.
Right, and that's where kind of like, that's where the agreement is. When you get
into why we're critiquing their personal. But anyway, I don't care. A congressional resolution makes no difference to me. I actually would prefer if Congress doesn't pass meaningless resolutions pronouncing a moral view on one thing or the other. We're about to have another governmental default, like the DOGE cuts are not.
That's fair.
Do your jobs, cut the government, cut the spending, empty gestures about I love this person, I don't love this person. Stop it. Go do real work is my
I did not think you were about to say that,
Congress. I don't care about the resolution.
Okay, well, coming up, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation banning ICE agents from wearing masks. But will the bill be enforceable? We'll discuss that next. Don't go anywhere.